Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we analyze Bitcoin Cash and its token BCH. None of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. This is the machine learning based price forecast. The yellow line is this bull case without any euphoria. That is one standard deviation bull case in the next 6 months. The two standard deviation is this orange line, which considers a 95 percentile ceiling under this orange line with a euphoria in the next 6 months. The base case, that is the directionality case, is this pink line, which says all things equal, if the price has more chance to go up or down, and the bear case, if the market were to turn bearish in the next 6 months, what could be a theoretical bottom. Not financial advice again. Let's start with the bull case. Since about April 2025, price has rallied from $300 now to at around $450. Price comes at a key critical juncture. Again, it's above the 20-week moving averages, the 20-week simple moving average and the 20-week exponential moving average between $360 and $385. There was a huge support at around $270 or so, where the price kind of managed to go to in early April of 2025. This white box over here, it was about a 57% decline. Again, we can get rid of this now. If the prices were to continue this macro lower high structure since about 2017 December, the macro highs, again you can see over here, again back in 2021, then twice in 2024, and potentially now in 2025, could see some resistance at around $515, between $510 to $515, if it were to materialize sometime in July of 2025. Eventually, what remains to be seen is if and when the prices break out of this lower high structure in this white line, if that corresponds to a mania phase. One target that comes to mind, again this time around the price did go to that 0.382, which early on in the 2024 market cycle, again from 2017 peak to the 2021 peak, again you can see the 2017 peak to 2018 bottom. If you draw the fib level, the 0.382 was at around 1700 or so, which was close to the 2021 top. But this time around, from 2021 top to 2025 top, again that occurred in 2024, was higher than 0.382. That means that if there is one more leg to the bull run, and if Bitcoin Cash participates in that leg, if there is a high, that key level to watch is that if the prices break above, the first is that 675 level, again it has to contend with the lower high base resistance somewhere between $510 to $520. If it were to contend with that resistance, the $675 level, 0.382 fib level, is one of the secondary resistance to contend with. Apart from that, the 0.5 fib level at around $855, and most realistically speaking, that $1,000 is the 0.618 per the fib level. So that's where there is a confluence between the machine learning price forecast and the technical analysis. The machine learning model says that in the next 6 months, if there is a non-euphoria bull run in the next 6 months, with one standard deviation ceiling to the bull run, the prices could be somewhere between $515 for this week. Again, week by week, the ceiling kind of changes as the bullish momentum changes. Again, nothing goes in straight line up and straight line down. There is a process to it. Again, you can see, historically speaking, again, even though there was a parabolic blow off top run, kind of like a straight line from June 2023 till July 2023, that those kind of moves last only for a month or so, not for prolonged duration such as 6 months. This model looks 6 months into the future, what could happen, using machine learning models such as seasonal ARIMA, LSTM, and XGBoost, using historical data at a weekly average price level since 2017 for Bitcoin Cash. So in the next 6 months, per this model, price ceiling could be between $515 to about $1,000.70. So that's that takes price towards the middle of November of 2025 forecasts till that point in time, 6 months out. In that scenario, again, that 1070 is the non-euphoria bull run target for the next 6 months. Again, there could be a case where the parabolic blow off top for the bull run occurs later, this time around somewhere in November-December time period. So that is always a possibility. The 2 standard deviation Euphoria case for Bitcoin Cash this time around is between $587 to the peak at around $3,108. Again, that would be slightly higher than the December 2017 peak. If that were to happen, again, there is a slight chance. Again, there is always a possibility of these kind of moves occurring, especially if there is a sustained breakout of this descending white line. Again, that's the prediction per the model. Again, in the next 6 months, if there is a parabolic move, the $3,000 level could be seen by Bitcoin Cash in that kind of environment. In the case that the market drops over the next 6 months, the support per the model is between $214 and $394. Again, it's a trailing support. Week by week are available in the pictorial view as well as in the tabular format at the bottom. So just to just refresh, in terms of the machine learning based price forecast, the $1,000 level seems the non-euphoria target. The 1.618, close to that 1.618, that 2 standard deviation ceiling is at around $3,000, which is close to 1.618. That would signal if the prices this time around could break out of the 2021 high that was at around $1,700. If they could break out of that structure, that 1.618, it becomes some sort of a key level to see or observe. In terms of the regression based valuation for Bitcoin Cash, though, right now it's coming in at around substantially lower valuation. The fair value is coming in at around $840 per the polynomial regression based function, which tries to break down the price action into 2 equal parts, one which is above the pink line, which is the bull phase, and one which is below the pink line, which is the bearish phase for the asset. Again, it's a non-linear model. That means, and tries to capture the fair value in a non-linear fashion, where the fair value goes down in the bearish phases and goes up in the bullish phases to account for some rapid moves in a volatile asset class such as crypto. In terms of where the current price is, it's not just below the fair value, it's more than 1 standard deviation residual applied to the fair value, which is captured by this green line, the light green line. And whenever the prices have been, historically speaking, below this green line, especially in the bear market years, this model helped identify a great accumulation territory. Right now, in the middle of the bull market, the fair value is consistently acting unable to break out of this resistance at 1 standard deviation residual applied to that fair value, coming in at in early February at around $284. Now it's at around $504. And this is a key level to watch, because if it were to break out of that $504 level, that could have to contend with that descending white line resistance. So in terms of the opposite of the 1 standard deviation residual to the downside is the 1 standard deviation residual to the upside from the fair value. And together, this yellow line and the green line, again, the price tries to stay about 70% of the time between these yellow and green line. That's the 1 standard deviation residual bands. If the prices were to go to that level, the top of the channel on the yellow line is coming in at around, roughly speaking, $1,400 level. So if the prices eventually peak out at that level, that could, the 1 standard deviation ceiling in the next 6 months could be somewhere at around $1,500-$1,600 if the shape of the regression function stays the same. In terms of the 2 standard deviation residual, that is somewhat of an bullish case. Again, prices only stay about 5% of the time above this orange line. And there are no guarantees that in every single bull market the price reaches that orange line. This time around, it has the prices have reached and breached the orange line early on in April 2024. Then there could be a hypothesis, which could be a valid hypothesis, that the 2 standard deviation breakout has already occurred, and in the next iteration the prices may fall short of that orange line, where right now it's coming in at around $2,300 or so. In 6 months, this orange line, if the shape stays the same, could be somewhere close to that $3,000 target. That is the 2 standard deviation machine learning forecast as well. So that's something to watch for. In terms of the simple moving average price daily accumulation risk, right now it's at around again you can see as of June 15th is coming in at around 0.48 or almost 50% risk, 50% reward. if the prices were to go to that between that orange between slightly below that orange risk, which is, again, I will try to make a better version of this color codes, somewhere between 50% and let's say 70% risk. Again, that's where major tops occur between 0.5 and 0.8. If the prices were to go to that risk level, the prices for this model could be somewhere between $822 and at the 80% mark at around $1,100. So that's between $822 and $1,100. That's the forecasted peak for Bitcoin Cash per the simple moving average price model. Again, at the end we will discuss an average of all the models to tune out any individual noise. The DCA model, though, it's saying that it's fairly, again, instead of a 58 between 40 to 50% risk per the regression model, the risk levels are at around 8%. That's because the prices are below the 1 standard deviation residual applied to the regression line. Again, this is the regression line, and the bottom regression is this, the green line is coming in at close to the price action per this model as well. Again, it's a slightly different regression function. If the prices were to go to that intermediate target between per this model between 40% risk and 60% risk, the prices could be somewhere between $1,070 and $1,400. That's the intermediate target per the regression based model for Bitcoin Cash. Again, kind of 3.5x from the current price. The time weighted average price model says prices are now in a in an accumulation phase. Again, this asset has unfortunately had a time weighted average price which has gone down with time, as the peaks from 2017 have been the all-time high was established about 8 years ago. 2021 high was lower than the 2017 high, so there is always a possibility that 2025 high is lower than the 2021 high. So accounting for that, the time weighted average price is coming in at close to $422. So if the again, right now the prices are slightly higher than that. Again, current price closer to $460. So time weighted average price model, again, the prices are above this blue line but not materially above it. So still the risk levels are close to zero but not quite zero at this point in time, at around 10% or 0.10 risk. As a confluence of all the three models, risk-based model, the price forecasted somewhere comes close to that about $3,000 target, where the regression risk, the time weighted average price is low, whereas simple moving average price risk is in medium to high level at around 46%, weighted risk at around 14%, estimated bull run peak per this model for Bitcoin Cash is at close to $3,100 level, which if it were to happen, it would be the new all-time high for Bitcoin Cash, at least at a weekly high. Again, the candle highs for that week was at around $4,200 level, but for the average price for that week was closer to $3,000. With that, I would like to conclude the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.